and welcome. I'm Gary MacDonald, your 2022 RSAR past president. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down and chatting with Angelica Reyes. Over the past 2 years, Angelica has been our Community Corner video series host. She has decided to retire her microphone, but before she moves on, I wanted to turn the tables on her and discuss some of her most memorable interviews. Hi, Angelica. How you doing?
Hello, Gary.
Welcome
so glad to be sitting with you again.
Welcome to 2022.
I know, it's crazy.
Now, you did a lot of work for the association with these videos. It meant your time, and you would go out and set up and visit with these organizations. And thank you so much for your talent and your time to do that. What we want to do today is go over a little bit about some of the highlights of the places that you've been.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I think it was a wonderful experience to see what organizations we had here within our community that were helping support those that live here. So I'm really actually excited to kind of do the year in review, or the last 2 years in review, and really kind of maybe highlight some of the ones that were most memorable to me.
Fantastic. Let's start with the Eddy House. So tell us about going to the Eddy House, what it was like walking through the front door, and what did you see and feel there?
It was truly amazing. Like, I didn't know what to expect when I first walked in, but as we were going through the tour and seeing how well organized this establishment was, they had a section for like clothing for the youth. You know, they could go in there, get shirts, pants, shoes. They had a little separate section where they could go and study, a little area where they can go and relax. And it was just a very inviting place, I guess, for the youths. And it was so wonderful actually to see how much support the community gave to this organization. They actually had a little area where they had toiletries and hygiene products, and it was just really just heartwarming walking through, because you could really feel the love that the community was giving to the youth. And having an organization like the Eddy House is so wonderful to have here in our backyard, you know, in our neighborhood.
Well, they most certainly have filled a void that was necessary for us to have here. Let's take a look at the film clip, and then we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Because there is a big need for that.
There is, Angelica. There's a big need. There are a large number of kids that are often deemed and titled as the invisible homeless. So you have kids that are living out in the streets. You have some kids that are bouncing back and forth from motel to motel, squeezing in with a number of other kids. Then there's a large group of kids that actually live on the river in downtown and finding nooks and cracks that they can slide into. A number of kids come out of foster care. There's a lot that have been runaways for quite some time. Sometimes they come from out of the area hoping that they can land a good job, and they end up just getting lost in the mix.
Angelica, that's a very moving piece. It's sad to think about children in our community, and they are children still, not having a place to be. And isn't Diaz Dixon a special guy?
He is. I mean, he was a great person to have as the face of the organization. He brought a lot of awareness. And it's just, again, it's a reminder about all the kindness that our community provides to the youth. And, you know, we're trying to help them as much as we can. So.
And it was special for us because 2020, they were our charitable partner.
They were, yes.
And
they actually have 2 other facilities that they help with the youth as well. So Casa de Vida and also Hope House. So it was really nice to visit all 3 facilities and see how much they provide in services to the youth and the homeless and our community.
Well, good job. Our second segment's talking about the United Way. Now, you went to the United Way at a very important period of time in 2020.
Yes.
COVID.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
So we actually went to United Way to talk about their literacy program that they were implementing that year. It's a great program that was designed to help our youth. And because of the pandemic coming along, they had a great way to pivot over and actually help several families that were in need. So I do believe it was about 70,000 families that they were able to provide food for and help them during those tough times early on in the pandemic, you know, the start of the pandemic. So
well, you piqued my interest. Let's watch our segment.
Yeah.
So you mentioned COVID-19. How did you pivot, and what did you do this past year to get, continue on with the literacy programs that you
Definitely.
had?
So here at United Way, we've always been focused on that most pressing issue. And when COVID hit, within 2 days of the governor's shutdown directive, we were able to launch an emergency assistance fund. Through that fund, we raised over $600,000 and have supported 50,000 households here in Northern Nevada with basic needs like housing and rental assistance, utilities assistance, food. On top of that, we've managed about $1.4 million of federal dollars to the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, and those funds support the same thing. So we've managed about $2 million in less than a year, got it out in the community to make sure we're supporting Nevadans to keep them in their house, keep them fed. And it didn't stop there, right? We kept going. In May, we partnered with the Lieutenant Governor to launch a program called Delivering with Dignity that provides meals to the doorsteps of our most vulnerable. So United Way operationalized that program. We managed the volunteers and the nonprofits. We provided nearly 70,000 meals.
Wow, that's amazing, because I know there was a lot of families out there that were struggling, and it's really nice to know that we have something here in our local community that can help support those, the members of our community.
Angelica, that was a fabulous interview. The United Way has been in our community for a very long time, and a lot of major organizations have done fundraising for them. Do you think that money is money well spent?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think having more exposure to what they do was wonderful to bring it to our members. I was actually really pleasantly surprised that they do so much. Like, they have so many programs. So that was actually one of my favorite interviews during, the community corner segments. So
Very
I
good.
loved it. Mm-hmm.
Well, rumor has it that this next segment is your favorite segment, and it's called Spread the Word. Talks about reading and children and books. As a former elementary school teacher, studies have shown over and over again that students that are read to as children have a more successful life. Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, so I was really pleasantly surprised again going into their community and seeing what they actually do. So this organization asks for donations on used books. And so what the community would do is drop them off at the drop down, the bin stations. And they would actually go through and sanitize a lot of the books and then give them to these schools where they felt like the children could use them. Because of the pandemic, a lot of organizations were not allowing volunteers to come in and do things. A lot of that was kind of put on hold. And we really, our team actually really wanted to help support this organization. So right after the segment, we actually volunteered to sanitize several of the books. And so what they did is brought 15 boxes to our office, and we had a cleaning party. And it was really nice that we could participate with this great organization in like a small way. So yeah, it was one of my favorite ones to participate in and really learn about it.
When you take children in reading, big smiles on their faces because books bring great adventure, let's look at the segment on Spread the Word.
To give you some background, Spread the Word Nevada is the largest literacy organization in the state. And our mission is to get books into the hands of children in at-risk communities. So the way that we do that is we have a couple different programs. During the school year, we have Kids to Kids, which is a monthly book distribution for all the students at the schools that we serve. And then we have Breakfast with Books, which is a monthly family literacy program that we also do for the schools that we have adopted. And then during the summer, we get to branch out a little bit more. And we have a program called Books on Break, where we work with Boys and Girls Clubs, parks and rec facilities, and up here we work with Food Bank of Northern Nevada in order to provide story times and book distributions for the kids that are already a part of their summer programs.
Angelica, I must confess, I had not heard of Spread the Word, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. What would you think the best thing that we can do for them would be? Encourage people to drop off used books?
Definitely. I mean, I would check in with them and see where their donation bins are and see how we can offer some assistance to them, because, I mean, we just did a tiny act, of helping sanitize some of those books so that they can provide them to the youth. And I'm sure that they're in need still to this day of more support. So definitely give them a call. Like I said, it was something we could have done very easily. Spent a little bit of time just helping that organization. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, our next segment is near and dear to me. When I was ready to become the president of the association, I, as we all do, get the opportunity to pick a charitable partner. And my charitable partner figure was the SPCA of Northern Nevada. So this segment's kind of cute because you are wearing masks.
Yes.
And the cat that's in the shot looks like it's got a mask on. So tell us about the SPCA.
Well, so they have this program that I wasn't really aware of, but it provides medical care to our furry friends. You know, I mean, my dog is like my little baby. You know, I'm always talking to him and worried about him. And I know there's a lot of families out there that maybe might not have the financial means to, you know, provide them some health care. And so at the SPCA, they had this wonderful program, and it was really cool to kind of highlight that and show some of the families out there and our viewers, you know, that there are options out there if they are facing any kind of like financial distress and they need to take care of their furry friends. So it was a really great interview. I would love to show you what we talked about.
Fantastic. Let's show the clip.
Yeah, we have a number of programs that are really doing a lot, especially during COVID times, to help not only pets in need, but the people who love them. Mm-hmm. So in last year, because of the negative economic impact of COVID on our community, we started a medical emergency fund. The fund was run primarily through 3 of our vet clinic partners to help people who can't afford the surgeries their animals needed, and so they would otherwise have to have them euthanized or relinquish them.
Oh, wow.
So how that works is our vet partners worked with us, and we paid the bills, and so these animals were able to stay in their already loving home.
Angelica, that kitty cat didn't seem to want to stay put.
No, he was, yeah, it was fun.
Well, you know, it's sometimes difficult to understand with masks on during the interview, but you did a great job. We had a great year supporting the SPCA. How can our membership and how can our community continue to support them other than just cash donations?
Right. So they actually have a thrift store located on the corner of Moana and Virginia Street. And it's really great because you can donate, you can buy some of the products that have been donated by other community members. And it does help support some of those programs that they have at the SPCA. So I think it's a wonderful way to kind of give back in our community as well. And I thought it was a great organization for you to choose for your year of presidency. I loved participating in those segments and, you know, supporting them all year. I thought it was wonderful.
Well, thank you so much. Great job there. Our next video clip has to do with Volunteers of America, and there's a special program out there for them on Sage Street.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Volunteers of America is actually one of the organizations I was really passionate about helping. Over the last couple of years, like when I started volunteering, that was the organization I went to. So it was really great to see the Village at Sage, you know, having them start a project like that, because Volunteers of America helps so many families. You know, they do really try to support our community for those that need a place to transition to. And offering the support during the height of the pandemic was wonderful. I mean, I don't think they would have ever expected that they would have such success in helping a lot of these families through those tough times. But, you know, I really loved the interview on that one. It was also one of my favorites.
Okay. You have a lot of favorites.
I do.
I like that
know.
about you. Let's look at the film clip.
So the Village on Sage Street houses 216 individuals, and all of our units are dorm style. So they're about 85 square feet. They come with a twin-size bed, desk, wardrobe. It's community bathroom. So if you think of a traditional dorm style hall, that is the environment and the environment that these have. And so we're able to house individuals who are low income, who need either a stepping stone out of homelessness or a safety net preventing them from becoming homeless. So during our time that we've been open the last 2 years, 50% of our population have been formerly homeless, coming off the streets, off the rivers, while the other 50% have not fallen in that category. So we see students, we see just, you know, regular working individuals who are working at the warehouses, working at the casinos, working just in other customer service related jobs. And we see a lot of seniors who are coming in who have been priced out of, you know, potentially their old apartment, their old motel that they were staying at because they're on that fixed income.
Angelica, the Village on Sage Street, another organization that I really hadn't heard of. Any final thoughts on them?
it was just nice to see that we have something like that as a stepping stone for somebody that maybe was facing homelessness or at the verge of facing it, to help them kind of get on their feet and get established and have a home, a place to call home. So I thought it was just wonderful to see that new facility being built here in our community, and not meant as a permanent place, but again, like a stepping stone into that transition.
There's nothing in the world like a hand up,
Right.
rather than just a handout. So thank you again. Hey, we've got a really interesting one in our next segment, and it's Farmally.
Yes.
Now, this one is one that seems really, really special. Tell us about it.
That was probably the one I would say was the most fun episode that I got to shoot. Yes, they have this wonderful program for some of the kids here in our community, teaching them kind of just the basics about gardening. And you wouldn't think that how important it is, but I know a lot of families are kind of focusing more on their health and healthy eating habits. And so it was great to have these children kind of involved in the process and seeing the little farm that they established. But it was really fun. I loved doing it with the children and walking through what they're most proud of with the gardening that they were doing.
So rather than just playing in the dirt, it's working in the dirt.
Yeah. You'll see that in the clip. They're so adorable. They were just, I think it's a truly great program to help, establish those healthy eating habits and having fun while doing it,
Well, you've got my interest. Let's see what the video says.
Yeah, so Farmally, we have 3 different gardens in conjunction with the Boys and Girls Club, and we teach social emotional learning through the organic gardens and a lot of other skills too. So we teach kids everything from plant anatomy to how to really control their emotions by breath work. Really, the purpose is to help them see that they're connected to everything in their environment, to help them better be able to relate to themselves and their peers. And to see how important growing food is.
Angelica, that is such a cute segment. I really like the idea that they're going with it, Farmally. Any final thoughts on it?
No, it was just very impressive to walk through the little garden area and the kids being able to identify different plants. So I was really, really impressed with that knowledge that they had. I think it's wonderful, and I loved it. I loved doing that interview. It was so much fun.
So, Angelica, our final segment has to do with the Downtown Reno Partnership Program, and specifically in this clip, they're going to talk about the Ambassador Program. To me, I think that our best foot forward to visitors and even our own population of having this service available. Tell us what you learned and what you think of this.
So I really love this project. I think it was great to focus on our downtown area because we do have a lot of visitors and we do have a lot of businesses starting out in the downtown, midtown area. And so it was great to see that this project was being kickstarted and having these ambassadors go down the streets of downtown Reno and identifying places or, any areas that they felt needed improvement. So it was wonderful to know that somebody is kind of taking care of our city when we don't necessarily see these things every day. It's because they're doing a good job. So the Ambassador Program is really wonderful. I want you to definitely take a look at this clip and you'll kind of get an idea of what they did.
Well, Angelica just gave us a perfect lead into the clip.
Yeah.
Let her roll.
And the third pillar is the ambassadors. That's the most public, the most visible of our programs, of course. We have 18 ambassadors. 16 regular hospitality ambassadors and 2 so-called social outreach specialists. They are out in the field all day long in basically 3 shifts because we work from 7 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the evening, 7 days a week. So it takes turnover time because everyone can only work for 8 hours. So we have about 5 to 6 ambassadors deployed right now at any given moment. And they're out there to meet and greet visitors, to give them recommendations, to give them visitors maps. We work with RCBA and other organizations to make sure that we have materials to pass out. We educate the transient community. When COVID happened, for example, we gave out flyers to educate them on what COVID actually is and what they can do to prevent the spread of it. We look at cleanliness issues. We report any type of cleanliness issues, graffiti on the walls and things like that. We collect shopping carts. Our ambassadors have collected over 800 shopping carts in 1 year.
Goodness.
So the ambassadors, to wrap it up in a nutshell, are there to make downtown Reno friendlier, safer, and nicer for visitors and residents and businesses alike.
Angelica, that Downtown Reno partnership is fantastic. I really like the ambassador program. And to think about collecting over 800 shopping carts in a year's time by the ambassadors, what a service to our community and to our visitors to our community.
Well, definitely. I mean, before I did the interview, I really wasn't aware that that's what they were doing. But now when I go through downtown Reno, I'm like, hi. I love that they're out there. I mean, you see them in their shirts and then their little scooters, and they're just kind of patrolling the streets. And I think it's wonderful. It's like a nice, friendly face to see welcoming visitors and businesses in our downtown area. So it was really an awesome experience to learn about that.
Well, I really appreciate it. We're bringing this segment to an end, and we're going to retire the this video portion of our To the Point series. And first of all, as a past president, I want to thank you so much for your efforts on our behalf. And I'm sure that all of these organizations and the community in general has benefited from your efforts with them to showcase their opportunities.
Well, I definitely, had a great time the last couple of years interviewing these, community organizations. And I felt really passionate about volunteering. And I thought it would have been a wonderful way to showcase some of these organizations to our members and our viewers. I mean, sometimes we're out there looking to volunteer and give back to our community. And sometimes it's hard to find what kind of like we feel we would be able to assist in. And so it was really wonderful. Like, I was able to participate in a lot of those volunteering events even after the segments aired. And I would definitely just want to encourage everybody to continue on with that. Giving back to our community is so wonderful because you feel really attached to it. You feel like you're a piece of it. You're a part of it. You're helping it in such a way that's, kind of coming from the heart. So I've had a wonderful run. I loved it so much. I thank the association for giving me the opportunity to be, the face of it, and, looking on to what other things the association is going to be focusing on this next year. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
On behalf of the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors, and personally,
Aw.
I thank you very much for everything that you've done. As we bring this to a close, I want to remind everybody that if you want to see the complete video series, it's available on our YouTube channel, RSAR Realtors. So with that, we bring this to a close. We thank Angelica Reyes. We thank all the community organizations that helped us out with this. And we look forward to all the good things that the Reno Sparks Association of Realtors continues to do for our community. With that, be well. Thank you.